Reporting from Arkham Asylum, this is Gotham Rocks. In this video we count down the 5 greatest Killer Croc stories ever told. On the surface, Croc comes off as nothing more than a simple brute whose only use is to give Batman a physical challenge. That's probably how most people see Croc, but in truth, he's actually an incredibly layered and tragic character with plenty of depth. As such, there's an abundance of great Killer Croc stories out there, and in this video I'm going to present to you the 5 very best ones. Number 5. Breaking the Skin. A one-shot story published in Batman number 642 in 2005. It was written by Anderson Gabrick and penciled by Chris Marinan. In the story, Croc has been captured by Black Mask, who's had the Mad Hatter implant a mind control chip inside Croc's skull. With Croc under his control, Black Mask is using the ferocious criminal for various heists, where his unique talents come in handy. However, Croc manages to scratch through his skin and dig the chip out. Now free, he goes on a quest of vengeance on Mad Hatter and Black Mask, choosing the Hatter first. It's kind of your typical Killer Croc plot, but it's one that really works and suits the character. When you're not the brightest of the bunch, yet so physically powerful, it's inevitable that you're going to get used. Like many Croc stories, we're really on his side here. Yeah, he's violent. Okay, very violent, but he's not evil. He's looking for revenge on people who truly are evil, and it's those who become subject to his feral rage. When he confronts the Hatter in the villain's lair, Croc actually saves a group of young girls captured by the maniac, proving that it's not he who's the monster. This is how I like my Croc, a misunderstood freak who's got the gentle heart of a puppy dog underneath that hideous hide. Number 4. Beauty and the Beast. Another one-shot. This one was published in an issue of Joker's Asylum in 2010, and it was written by Mike Reicht and penciled by David Yarden. Joker's Asylum was an anthology limited series that featured standalone stories focusing on a specific Bat-Rogue. All of these stories were narrated by the Joker. I guess you could say the series was like a Batman version of Tales from the Crypt, with Joker as the Crypt Keeper. The Killer Croc issue features a plot fairly similar to the previous story on this list, namely one that finds Croc being used by other criminals. This time it's a small-time gangster named Edgar Mason and his wife Juliet. After Croc escapes Arkham by biting off his arms no less, the couple finds him and helps him hide from the law. While Croc recovers and his arms grow back out, yeah, they do that apparently, Juliet takes care of him, establishing a special bond between the two. As soon as Croc's back up on his feet, Edgar convinces him that they should join forces and together climb to the top of the criminal underworld. Edgar then uses Croc to slaughter all rival gangsters standing in their way, and eventually they actually reach their goal. Meanwhile, Croc and Juliet grow closer to each other, and he's finally found someone he cares about, which doesn't happen too often in the life of Waylon Jones. However, she's not quite on the level and secretly schemes against both her husband and Croc. As usual, I of course won't spoil the ending in case you want to read this for yourself, which you should, but it's a tragic one. Just like the previous story, it asks who's truly the monster here. Writer Mike Reicht has also cleverly not given Croc any dialogue at all until the final page. This amplifies his bestial appearance, yet makes him seem just all the more human when he finally does speak. Number 3. The original Killer Croc saga. Unlike most of Batman's main enemies, Killer Croc made his first appearance fairly late into the game, actually in 1983. He was introduced in a long arc published across several issues of both Batman and Detective Comics, which were written by Gerry Conway and penciled by various artists, including Dan Jurgens, Don Newton, and Kurt Swan. In the Ark, a huge vacuum had been left within the Gotham underworld after Batman defeated mob boss Rupert Thorne. As a result, several of Gotham's hoods tried to fill it, and one of these was Killer Croc. He was originally hired muscle working for the Squid, one of the bosses in the city. However, Croc planned all along to seize power over the city himself. After murdering the Squid, Croc made his move and started the takeover of Gotham's underworld. The Croc we see in this arc is very different from the one we know today. This Croc is not only brutal and incredibly strong, but smart and strategic as well. He was actually very reminiscent of Bane, a powerful foe with both brawn and brains, as well as a lot of ambition. A lot of Bat-Rogue's first appearances aren't really all that good, and instead, these villains have grown into fascinating characters over time. Not so with Croc. He was fascinating from the start. In these early issues, we already get his tragic backstory as a freak abused by his drunken aunt and harassed and taunted by the other kids. Desensitized and fresh out of other options, Wayland entered a life of crime early on. While he's a bit more evil here than in later stories, the idea of him as a sad, tragic monster is firmly in place. This is easily one of the best introductions to any member of the Dark Knight's Rogues Gallery that holds up very well still to this day. Number 2. Fast Train to the Wet Dark, Swamp Things. This is a two-parter with the first part called Fast Train to the Wet Dark and the second called Swamp Things. It was published across 2 issues of Batman in 1995, and it was written by Doug Monk and penciled by Kelly Jones. In the story, mysterious plant life infiltrates Arkham Asylum and starts to seemingly influence Killer Croc into escaping and finding his way home. The plants tell him that his home is something called the Wet Dark. Croc obeys and breaks out of Arkham, and then proceeds to make his way across America aboard a hijacked train. All the while, Batman is in hot pursuit. Croc's journey ends in the town of Houma in Louisiana, where he's influenced to enter the swamps. So what's going on here? Plants? Is it poison ivy? No, as both Croc and Batman finds out in the swamp. It's Swamp Thing. The creature informs both Gothamites that he has summoned Croc to the swamps because it is where he belongs. Croc is an animal, not a human, therefore he cannot live in the man's world of Gotham City, where he only causes trouble due to his animalistic behavior. He doesn't fit in there, nor is he happy there. Croc is more than happy to accept Swamp Thing's offer of a new home, as he's tired of being harassed and hounded by people due to his appearance and nature. However, Batman takes an issue with it and insists that Croc be brought back to Arkham, where he will pay for his many crimes. In the end, the Dark Knight is forced to make a decision: take back Croc to Gotham and lock him up again, or let him stay in the swamp where he belongs. It's a moral issue of what's right and what justice truly is. This was also the first story to explain that Croc is slowly devolving into a more bestial and primitive form, which obviously further supports Swamp Thing's case. While most stories portray Croc in a sympathetic light, this one really has you rooting for him that he may finally be left alone and find some peace of mind. And now for the greatest Killer Croc story ever told. Number 1. Requiem for a Killer. A one-shot story published in Batman number 471 in 1991, written by Alan Grant and penciled by Norm Breyfogle. In the story, Croc is taken up to living with a group of cast-out homeless people in the sewers beneath Gotham. In this sad, raggedy bunch, Croc has finally found a family and a home, as they're just like him, shunned and undesired by society. He genuinely cares for them and will do anything to keep them happy. Thus, he plots up a scheme of using the sewer systems to break into a store, stealing various fancy foods, drinks, and other comforts that make up a home. For a while, Wayland and his new family have it pretty good, but nothing lasts forever as Batman is on the trail of the store robbers. However, Batman isn't the true problem. No, the real threat is that the city is going to open up new water tunnels in the sewers that will completely drown anything or anyone down there. Batman is aware of this and has to reach Croc and his family in time to save them, but he also has to convince Wayland that he's telling the truth and isn't just trying to set him up. Alan Grant establishes that Wayland sees Batman as the worst of his persecutors, a sinister, unforgiving demon who constantly stalks him and banishes him to the dark depths of the worst place on Earth, Arkham Asylum. There, Croc is tortured by the demon in vain attempts at rehabilitation. We feel for Croc in all the stories on this list, but this is the only one where he's undoubtedly a hero, as he so selflessly shows in the ending. I won't say what happens, but it's a real tearjerker. Just like the previous story, this one is about Croc finding a home where he belongs. But this one does it even better, as we actually get to see him succeed in doing it. It's very touching to see Croc be happy for once, even though it is only for a brief moment. So, there you have it. Those are the 5 greatest Killer Croc stories ever told. If you can think of any others that deserve to be mentioned, write them in the comments below. Remember, Arkham Asylum awaits you in the next video.